When life knocks you down, and life will knock you down, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Welcome to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. In this episode, I'm going to talk about bucket lists and my just general financial updates. And I'm going to show you a chart that I use within my spreadsheet to track my assets, liabilities, and my student loans, all of my different things, such as consumer loans. So I last talked about mistakes that you want to avoid in retirement. But what I want to talk about now is the elephant in the room. If you'll notice, I have a different background. And the background is normally I'm sitting in my garage in front of my motorcycle. But what I found out on my YouTube channel since I just started is that it's 95 degrees out there in the garage, which makes me very disoriented when I'm trying to do videos. And also, I plan to travel quite a bit. So having this as my background allows me not only to be in an air-conditioned office to do these videos, but also as I'm traveling, I can still do my videos from hotel rooms as I travel the country in retirement. What I'm showing you now is my 2024 progress chart, which is only valid up until the end of July. Everything after the end of July is from 2023. So what you see is you see my progress all the way through the end of July, beginning in August, which is now. And this is what you see. So in August, it will go up or down, but basically it's going to take this same trend. Now, what you see here is earlier in the year, March and April, I had a dip in my assets. My assets went down, but so did my liabilities. This is because I sold a property. And that property took a long time to sell because it was not the best property in my portfolio. So that property sold, which I used money to pay off other properties. And so now I owe less money as opposed to just going out and spending that money. And the difference is that I'm making better money decisions today than I made in the past. My father, when I was a child, told me that money burned a hole in my pocket. And by that, he meant I couldn't keep any money and I did not make smart money decisions. But one of the things that he also told me was that name one thing that can't ever did, because I used to always say I can't afford it. And the reason I couldn't afford it is I never saved any money and I did not make wise money decisions. So as you can see here, my net worth is here. And so I track my net worth. I track the equity in my rental properties. I track my rental mortgage debt. How much do I still owe on the properties? I want to see that going down every single month. So I track everything. Retirement basically is what I have in the stock market. So as you can see, as a part of my total assets, I have very little, maybe 15% in the stock market. As I mentioned, I had to have a mindset shift from I can't afford it to how can I afford it? And the first place that I heard that was from Josh Dorkin and Brandon Turner in the Bigger Pockets podcast sometime around 2017. And Brandon talked about when you're starting out in real estate, always ask yourself, how can I get this deal done? So I've done a lot of different creative financing things to buy more real estate. I've used real estate to buy more real estate. I've taken out a HELOC on a duplex that I owned, which was my first duplex. That's the only property I owned. And I took a HELOC out on that to buy the 4-unit that I just mentioned that I just sold years later. And then I, of course, paid that off. So that mindset shift has led me to have a bucket list. I never had a bucket list. My whole goal in life was don't become homeless again. But with this mindset shift, I now have a bucket list. So let's talk about what's on my bucket list. The first thing that's on my bucket list is a pond in my backyard. I have a creek back there, and I want to someday build a pond and go fishing in my own backyard. Because as I've mentioned in prior videos, I used to fish for food to survive. Now I fish for pleasure, but I want to do it on my own land. So another new bucket list item is traveling. I started traveling 2 years ago, and it all started because I got stuck in an airport in Las Vegas on my way home from Seattle. I ended up spending the night in the airport because planes weren't coming in and I couldn't get on another plane. And that's never happened to me in all my years of traveling. And I said, you know what? From now on, I'm going to drive my car. And I drove my car 2 years ago. I went from Alabama out to California, out to Vegas, then up to Utah, then to Wyoming, and then to South Dakota. And then I drove back down to Alabama. Now, that was a 1.5-month trip. I've never done that before, but financial freedom and teaching online allows me to do that. And then just in this past year, I drove out to California, visited family and friends, and I was gone for about a month. Well, I'm going to be doing that again in the near future. And so I need to be able to take these videos and shoot these videos from any hotel room, from anywhere that I go. So as I mentioned, I travel around the country in my car. I don't have a motorhome, so I stay at hotels as I travel the country, but I do it very frugally. I have points that I'm trying to build up with a certain hotel brand, and also I stay with friends along the road. And all of this saves me money as I travel, because as you all know, I don't spend a lot of money, and I'm on a low income in retirement. I teach online, which basically gives me that digital nomad lifestyle. I can teach from anywhere that has internet. Last year, I was in Belize and I was teaching from the beach in Belize. That's my dream of retirement, is to teach from the beach. So please like and subscribe and recommend my channel to anyone you know who has been knocked down by life. This is the part of the video where I give a shout out to other YouTubers who have, one, given me a shout out, but two, are YouTubers that I watch and support. And I'm going to try to incorporate that in future videos. One is Megan with Bethel Budgets. She has Budget Babes in her town, and I'm going to talk later about Budget Bros that she inspired me to start in my community. Tiger is a person I've recently found. His channel is about early retirement, and it's Tiger on Fire. And I will put that in the description. And Liz at Budget and Balance, she is a teacher. And so she and I are both teachers, and we have that in common. So I have a little bit in common with all of these creators, and they're all trying to build their channel. So let's all support them and help them to build their channel. In the comments, please put what is on your bucket list and has it changed over the years? Because my bucket list has changed. I recently went on a trip, as you all saw a previous video from me in Palm Springs, California, and I met a friend who lives in Hawaii. And now I have on my bucket list to go to Hawaii. In the past, and here's where that mindset shift comes in, I told myself I can never afford to go to Hawaii. That's only for rich people to go to Hawaii. Well, I am going to save up for a year or two, and my wife and I are going to go to Hawaii. I can make things happen in retirement if I save up for them. So I want to give you an update. I'm very happy to give you an update that today, finally, I found an organization where I can help men who are in transition with their financial literacy. And again, I'm calling it Budget Bros, which I got from Bethel Budgets, and I'll put a link to Bethel Budgets' YouTube channel. She has budgeting for women. I now have budgeting for men in my community who are in transition from one status in life to another status in life. The other thing that I wanted to update you on was my savings rate. My savings rate back in May was 37%. My savings rate now is 45%. I am saving as much as I can, even though the monthly money that I'm living on is very, very tight. That's okay. I will survive because that's what I do. So the quote of the day is, don't let uncertainty get in the way of opportunity. Remember, never let your past determine your future.